Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm glad that you found us here on YouTube and have joined our tribe of survivors, Post Narcissist. Today is a really hard talk for me to do, but I really want to do it. And I'm really going to try not to cry during this talk because yesterday I lost one of my cats. One of my cats died. She was very sick for the past week, and I was trying to nurse her back to health. She got better for a little bit, but then her poor little body gave out. So this cat and I had quite the history because this cat belonged to my ex. So I met this cat, and when I first met this cat, it was almost 10 years ago, and she was already full grown, but she was the size of a kitten almost. She was so tiny, and she was so sweet. Now, I really want to make this talk about how narcissists are with animals because there's a very definite link between the way they treat people and the way they treat animals. And sometimes it's more obvious to spot a narcissist when you see them the way they are with animals. So yeah, this cat, when I met my ex, he had 4 cats and 1 dog. And I'm an animal lover, so of course, that was kind of one of the things that drew me to him because it's something we had in common. And when we got together, we adopted 2 more dogs together right away, and I had a cat already. And then we ended up adopting yet another dog. So we had 4 large dogs and 5 cats together. And at first it was lots of fun. I felt like we had so much love in the house, and then we had other animals going on, so I thought it was perfect. But as time went on, and I kind of, when you first start to see that mask slip a little bit with a narcissist, he, I found, didn't have the same kind of love that I did for the animals. It's almost as if he only loved them when someone was watching him, and it's as if he was using the animals to promote his YouTube channel. If the camera was rolling, he was very involved with the animals and playing with them and doing stuff with them, but if the cameras weren't rolling, or if there wasn't a need for it, he really didn't love them the way that I thought that any normal person would. And he would give them minimal care, And the thing is, the dogs that he adopted, like I had my dog. I have a dog that is my doggy soulmate, and I don't even know what I would do without her. And having just lost my most beloved cat yesterday, I'm sorry. I said I wouldn't cry. This is sorry. Um, I'm not sure what I'm going to do if I ever lose my dog. And she's already 10 years old. And so I need to get her cloned or something. I don't know. So what was I saying? With these other dogs that we had, so we had 4 big dogs in the house, and I was so connected to my dog. And the thing is, the dog that he had when I first met him, he didn't even care about that dog. He didn't love it at all. He talked to me, after, our relationship was, cemented and we were already, I think, married. I found out that he hated this dog. That this dog got passed on to him because it was a stray and it was starving, and he nursed it back to health in front of all his school, and it was all fake. It was just all fake. And yet he wouldn't adopt this dog out. So he had this dog that we weren't bringing into the house, but he wouldn't adopt it out to a loving home because he said to me, well, what is my audience going to think if I adopt a dog out? He's supposed to be adopting dogs in and enjoying the praise, and he's enjoying the way people are looking at him by adopting all these animals. like he's saving them and like this, and he's always using them for photo ops. But when none of that's going on, like he doesn't give a shit about these animals. He just likes the way other people think he is with animals, like it was all just fake. And I'm sitting there going, well, this is cruel to these animals to not, like, we don't, there's not enough of us to give them attention because now we've got too many. And after, at this point, I see his true colors, or he's not really caring how much of this I see him in. He's not loving these animals. So I'm like, we should adopt a couple of these dogs out to loving homes. And he refused. He absolutely refused because he didn't want his audience to know he adopted a dog out. I'm sitting there going, that's not the right answer to why you don't adopt a dog out. The right answer would be, oh my gosh, these dogs are my babies. I love them, like I would never part with them, like that's like the right answer to give if someone suggested you adopt an animal out and refuse. Not, oh, well, I don't want my audience to think less of me. So that's like a narcissist reality. Like that's the true narcissism without their mask on. Because if they kept the mask on, they would say, no, I love this dog too much. I would never get rid of it. And so, and that's just the way it is with animals. Like, so when my ex left, he didn't just leave me. He left all the animals. So all his four cats and all of the dogs were originally just completely left with me. And he left me and he left everything. And it was really hard on me. So he three of the dogs ended up getting adopted out. I kept my dog, and one of the cats unfortunately died right away, like right when we were breaking up. And now, so for this past few years, I have been with the three cats and my dog. And we had such a, it was just, we turned into this huge happy family. And I felt like I could come home and just be part of my own little, you know, my own tribe of of love, kind of, because the dogs and the cats all got along amazingly. I've got this one cat that will actually groom my dog, and she just wants attention from my dog all the time. And as soon as my dog comes into the house, she's like so happy, and she starts licking her face and cuddling with her. It's really quite cute. So there's just such a nice, happy feeling. So when one of my cats got sick, and this was a cat that like I met this cat and it was my ex's, and this cat hated my ex. Like he had four cats, and this cat was scared, very skittish of all people. But when I met her, we formed such a bond. She only came to me. She only liked me holding her. She would run away and hide if there was anyone else in the house, including my ex. So when my ex left, it's like she really came out of her shell and she was free to just be with me. And so over the past 3 years, I had such a love for this cat. So her dying yesterday, I was crying. I probably cried for about 12 hours yesterday. All I did was cry. I didn't leave the house. I held her, dead body for probably a very unhealthy 3 hours, before I, laid her to rest. Like I just couldn't let her go. I really feel like this was a huge closing chapter of because I felt like I had rescued this cat from my ex, even my whole marriage to him, like, because like she didn't get love from him. She knew not to be with him. So now I'm down to, and I've cried enough, so I'm really trying not to. I don't want you guys to have to listen to me do that. So I'm down to just two cats and one dog now. I used to have chickens, I had bunnies, I had tortoises. Like we had built up, and that's what like a narcissist does. Like well, especially a narcissist like mine was, like he really enjoyed the gratification of people looking at him having to adopt all these animals and having almost like this small urban farm going on. And the way people looked at him for the way he was with animals, or what they saw on, was so different. I mean, and I know I'm not really being very clear here. I'm going to try and bring this home for all of you. So, like a narcissist like mine, they don't have the empathy. They don't, and animals can feel that. And so something happened, I'll tell you, and I might have mentioned this in another video. One of his cats is very personable. And when we were going through our breakup, this is a cat that he put and took so many pictures on for social media, and this was his cat, and it's a tuxedo cat, and it's got, I know I love this cat to death. It's got such great personality. But this was his cat, and out of all the animals, I would say that this cat was more his animal. But when we were going through our breakup, we were inside my house here, the and this was about a month after we broken up, and we still had to sort out a lot of things. So he was here, and he had been gone like a month. So he hadn't seen any of the animals or the cats at all for a month. And so when he came here and we were in the kitchen, well, his cat was like, "Oh my God, Daddy's home," type thing. And this cat is talking and meowing and jumping up on furniture trying to get to my ex. And I'm like, "Are you?" And I looked at him, and he was just looking at this cat like it was a parasite. And I'm like, looking at him going, "Aren't you gonna pick him up? And he misses you." And my ex said, "No, he's always been his own man. Like, no, he doesn't need to pick him up." And my heart just got ripped apart because I see this cat aching for him, like trying to get his attention because he missed him. And my ex he cast him aside just the same way they'll cast a person aside and feel nothing for it. So I saw him do that directly with the animals as well. And it was so, and I was so crushed for, like, so I picked him up and I tried to love him enough to calm him down because he was meowing so hard at him. And it broke my heart. So they treat animals the same way as humans. They just don't care. They're so heartless and cruel. I mean, to do that to an animal, I mean, it's bad enough they're doing it to us. To cast us aside when we still love them and we're reeling and in pain, and they can cast us aside so easily. They don't care about anyone that comes into their life. They will cast away with complete disregard. And they're going to do this to every animal that comes into their life and every person that comes into their life. So if you're looking, because I just saw, I know that my ex in his new supply adopted 2 cats. And okay, so you're jealous of the new supply a little bit when you first go through a breakup and you see that they're happy and they're probably going to get married and have kids and whatever. But you have to remember, you don't want to be jealous of this or upset at this. I can feel nothing but sadness for the new supply now, and I feel nothing but sadness for the 2 cats that they adopted, because at their core a narcissist feels nothing for them. And if when he casts this ex aside, or his soon to be ex, his new supply aside in the future, he's going to cast away those 2 cats as well and feel nothing for it. Because I've seen it firsthand, the way they are with animals. It's the same way with people. And it's just so heartbreaking. So when you see someone almost online doing an overabundance of selfies with their animals all the time, now when I see that, I'm like, I think it's a narcissist, because as soon as the camera or the phone gets put down, the animal is probably going to go back into the kennel and not being taken out again until the next photo op is what a narcissist will do, right? And I could go on about the stories throughout the last, like the 7 years of our marriage, about how whenever the animals were in need, I was always having to work so hard to take care of them. But if we had company there, well, then he was all over it. Like it was just so it was so fake. And I cast it aside so many times thinking, well, he's very busy. He doesn't have time and he needs my help taking care of the animals. But the truth was he just didn't care. He didn't care. So when he was gone and he abandoned me and the animals, I knew I couldn't take it all on, and I knew it wasn't fair to the dogs, especially because I'm only one person, and some of these dogs had they weren't just regular dogs, like they were abused in their previous ownership. So when we took them in, they had a lot of mental problems that we were dealing with as well. They didn't trust humans. We were trying to build them up. So there was a lot going on. And so I adopted, yeah, so the dogs all got adopted out but one, and I was so happy with the dynamics of my three cats too in the house. And just having lost that one cat, it just brought back all the just the loss of everything when my marriage to my narcissist ended. And it just stirred up so much again, you know. And I bet you he'll probably see that that cat died on social media, and I bet you he doesn't feel a thing. He bet you he won't recognize it, acknowledge it, or say or feel a thing, because a narcissist is an empty goddamn shell of a human. They feel nothing for people, animals, or anything that comes into their life. They only care about how it looks on the surface. So, if you want to protect, yourself from a narcissist, but you got to protect animals from them too, because they're going to feel the abuse just the same. Oh, and I'm going to go outside now and hug my dog, because I think I need a hug. I just, yeah, all my animals are kind of like rallying around me a little bit. I'm not letting them out of my sight for the next little bit. And like all my friends are like coming in. They want to take me out for dinners. I'm like, I look like crap. I've got bags under my eyes from crying. Like this was a once in a lifetime soul connection that I had with this cat. And that's why I kind of wanted to do the talk a little bit. Kind of give you guys an insight, a little bit of what narcissists are like with animals. But if you're out there, you need to save yourself from the narcissist and save your animals from the narcissist as well, because they're going to feel the abuse of them the same. So I really appreciate you guys just listening to me. I love your comments so much. You guys, some of you have been through so much with your exes, and a lot of you have escaped, and I love reading the happy stories too about your triumphant escape from them. So I'm looking forward to the comments about maybe experiences that you've had with animals and a narcissist. So I'm glad that you found us here on YouTube and have joined our tribe of survivors and animal survivors post narcissist.